Do you know what manus means? It is the Latin word for hand, and China has adopted it as the name for its latest AI agent. The Chinese manus promises to be handy. It can do multiple tasks at once, one prompt, and it can plan a trip for you or analyze your investment portfolio. Manus was launched earlier this month, and it's already created a lot of buzz. But not everyone can use it yet. It's still invitation only. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the world of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is getting anxious in the US. Not the makers, this time it's the bots who are anxious. And in Europe, they're building 4 AI gigafactories. That is the EU's answer to the US Stargate. As for India, it is racing to deal with an AI talent shortage. A shortage of 1 million professionals, apparently. Our next report has more.
Do you want someone to plan a trip to Japan, analyze stock options, create coursework for teachers, analyze insurance policies, all with a single prompt? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, this is China's new AI agent. It's called Manus, and it's a serious multitasker. But don't mistake it for a chatbot. It's being called the first general AI agent. Manus was developed by a Chinese startup, Monica. It was launched on March 6th. Since then, it's created a lot of buzz in the world of AI. Many even compared it to DeepSeek, calling it the next big name in AI. Right now, Manus is invitation only. You can only test the AI agent. According to Manus's website, it outperforms OpenAI's deep research model. But it has left the industry divided. Some call it a major breakthrough, claiming Manus goes further from mere chatbots. It shows China's dominance in the AI world. But some experts remain skeptical, and that's because Manus wasn't built from scratch. Also, it's prone to factual errors and execution failures. So China is racing to secure the lead in the AI race with more advanced models. And what is the United States doing? Well, its models are left anxious. I'm talking about ChatGPT. A new study shows that ChatGPT gets anxious quite literally. It mirrors human stress patterns and even responds to calming techniques like that of guided meditation and deep breathing. Guess the pressure to stay ahead is getting to it. But jokes aside, China and the United States are locked in an AI tussle, and Europe is scrambling to keep up. The European Commission is raising $20 billion. This is to build 4 AI gigafactories. It will be like a public-private partnership. Each gigafactory will contain 100,000 cutting-edge chips. They will be used to develop the most advanced, very large models that are in line with Europe's regulations. It is Europe's answer to the Stargate project, which is America's ambitious $500 billion AI venture. But there are a few hurdles here. Obtaining chips or technology won't be easy. There's also lack of electricity, especially on the scale that it's needed. Europe will have to figure out all of that. So where does this leave the world? AI is evolving rapidly from chatbots to general AI agents, from national strategies to global competition. But there's one thing everyone can agree on. The demand for AI talent is skyrocketing, and right now, most of the world is playing catch-up. A new report suggests by 2027, 2.3 million jobs could open up in India's AI sector. The AI talent pool will grow by over 1.3 million. But even then, India faces a crunch of 1 million workers. So China is pushing the boundaries of AI innovation. The US is facing the pressure to stay ahead. Europe is trying to secure its place in the AI landscape. And India is racing to train more professionals. But the real question is, where does this end? With AI evolving at lightning speed, with governments investing billions and companies testing the limits of what's possible, is the world ready for the next phase? A future where AI isn't just a tool, but a decision maker.
Let's turn our attention to Greenland. This Arctic island is home to about 56,000 people, and today they are going to polls. Historically, the island's elections rarely make global headlines. But this year, all eyes are on the ballot because Greenland has exploded into geopolitical significance thanks to US President Donald Trump. He has openly and repeatedly talked about acquiring the island. So what does this election mean for Trump and the people of Greenland? Here's a report.
Residents flocking to the booths, political parties pitching tents outside, campaigners offering hot drinks and cake, election workers being cheered on. It's clear that the mood is festive at the sole polling station in the capital city of Nuuk as Greenland goes to polls. Greenland is the largest island in the world. It is thinly populated and home to just 56,000 people. Its elections usually attract only local attention. But this year, the island has drawn outsized global attention after it exploded into geopolitical significance thanks to US President Donald Trump.
I think this is one of the most important elections we've ever had, or that we'll vote in, also because there's so much focus on Greenland at the moment around the world.
Here's a little context. Greenland is controlled by Denmark, which is nearly 3,000 kilometers away, and it has been this way for about 300 years now. Though Greenland governs its own domestic affairs, its decisions on defense and foreign policy are made by Copenhagen. Since 2009, the island has wanted independence. It has sought to break free from Denmark. Earlier this year, their Prime Minister said that the territory should free itself from the shackles of colonialism unlike ever before. This debate has taken center stage in the country's elections and on the world stage because it has been quote-unquote put on steroids by Trump.
Because of the attention now, growing attention from the world, I mean from Trump's statements and the pressure also a little bit towards the Danish state and so on, the independence question has popped up again as a major theme in the election campaign.
You see, this island is rich in mineral resources, rare earth minerals which are called the key to driving the global economy. Plus, Greenland occupies a strategic location in the North Atlantic. It's located halfway between Russia and the United States. So Trump wants Greenland. He has openly and repeatedly declared his intent to acquire it.
We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it.
But most Greenlanders show no sign of wanting to become Americans. Greenland and Denmark's leaders have repeatedly rebuffed Trump's demands.
We don't want to be Danes. We don't want to be Americans. We want to be Greenlandic. And of course, it is the Greenlandic people who decide their future.
Now, independence is the biggest issue on Greenland's ballot. 6 parties are contesting the elections. 5 out of those favor independence. After all, Trump's interest has stoked calls for the island to break away from Denmark.
I strongly believe all this interest from Trump and the rest of the world is definitely speeding up our independence process with times 100.
The question remains, will Greenland break free? What will become of its relationship with Denmark? Will the island break its shackles only to wear new American ones? The island has a relatively small electorate, so within a few hours, the world should have its answer.
Of course, it's a ceasefire. Zelensky has agreed to it, so the question now is, will Putin agree too? Will he agree to the ceasefire deal? US officials plan to meet the Russians soon. They will present the truce proposal to Moscow.
We're going to take the offer to them. We're going to tell them this is what's on the table. Ukraine is ready to stop shooting and start talking. And now it'll be up to them to say yes or no. I hope they're going to say yes. And if they do, then I think we made great progress. If they say no, then we'll unfortunately know what the impediment is to peace here.
That was Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the US Foreign Minister, if you will. Let me highlight what he said. I'm sorry. If Russia agrees to the truce, great news. If they don't, we will know what is the impediment to peace. Basically, whether it's Russia or Ukraine that is impeding peace. That's what the Americans want to find out. President Trump is hopeful of a breakthrough. He says he will speak to Putin this week. Listen in.
To get the Russians to agree?
I'll talk to Vladimir Putin, yeah.
When will
I
you
want to
talk
get,
to him?
look, that's the other, it takes two to tango, as they say, right? So hopefully he'll also agree. And I really think that would be 75% of the way. The rest is getting it documented and, you know, negotiating land positions, etc.
So you'll talk to him this week about the deal?
I think so, yeah.
And what is Russia saying? The Kremlin has refused to say yes or no. They are waiting to be briefed by the Americans. Only after that will they comment. And it's a bit of a pickle for them. A similar truce was proposed by France last month, and Russia was quick to reject that. And you can see why. Putin has the advantage on the battlefield. If he keeps fighting, he can annex more Ukrainian land. If he stops, he will give a breather to Kiev to maybe regroup or restock. Plus, Vladimir Putin is under no pressure to cease fire. Trump can bring Zelensky to the table by cutting off aid, but he has no such power or leverage over Putin. At best, Trump can impose some sanctions. So militarily, a truce does not really make sense for Russia. It is a no-brainer. But politically, like I said, it's a pickle. If Putin does not agree to the truce, it will create a perception that he never wanted peace in the first place, that all this diplomacy was bluster. It was all fake. So what will he do? Will he demand a peace deal instead of a truce? Will he set tall conditions for it? Or will he agree and take it from there? Among the people, there is little hope, both in Ukraine and in Russia. After 3 years of war, they are wary of truce talks.
Given the fact that while the talks were still being held, Russia launched Shahid drones at us, chances are low that Russia will agree to ceasefire.
Now, to be honest, I am very doubtful that Putin will agree to the ceasefire. They officially said a few times that they won't stop until they capture Kherson region.
For sure, for us, proposed ceasefire is not good, because we advantage on the battlefield.
I am not a specialist, but I think proposed ceasefire won't be effective.
We have learned a few things from yesterday's talks. Number one, US-Ukraine ties have rebounded. After the Oval Office disaster, it seemed very unlikely, but Trump's pressure tactics have paid off. Zelensky has agreed to American terms. That's the first takeaway. Number two, the fears of a unilateral peace were hyped up. The fears that Trump would cut a deal without Ukraine. That's not happening. Clearly, that was not his plan. Yesterday's joint statement reaffirmed Ukraine's place at the table. It also hinted at a role for Europe. And finally, point number three, the truce proposal could move things along. Until now, every side has been keeping their cards close to their chest, but now they cannot afford to do that. Russia will have to give a response to the truce request. If they accept, Kiev will have to sue for peace. If they don't accept, Trump will have to make a choice. Does he keep up the mediation effort? Does he cut off military aid to Ukraine? Does he put sanctions on Russia? Or does he just leave both countries to figure things out themselves? He will have to decide. And it all hinges on Putin's next move. We'll be tracking things closely for you.